Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Football Manager 2019 with Zebu Nation. We're here today for the first quarter review of the 2021 MLS regular season. Got a lot to go over. We got a lot of games that we skipped, in favor of Champions League, basically. But before we do that, before we get to that, there's a little bit of real-world news. FC Cincinnati has made a big acquisition in real life. They're going to be getting a loan player. Kenny Saif from the U.S. national team is going to come on loan from Anderlecht in the Belgian league. This guy's pretty good, and he's exactly what I said they needed, right? The Corbin Bone in the center of the field is not quite doing it. He's not quite the high-quality guy that they need. So this guy looks pretty good. At least Football Manager says he's pretty good, and I think he's pretty good in real life. Honestly, I haven't seen him play much, but he looks pretty good on paper. His highlights look pretty good. So I think, FC Cincinnati might be making a big move after the first week where they got trounced. I mean, I'm sure this move had been in the works for a while. You don't just go out and get a guy like this in 2 or 3 days, but apparently he's available for loan, so why not? Why not bring in a guy of this caliber? 27 years old, 5 caps for the U.S. national team. He's a 5'9" attacking center mid. He can play left wing. I'm going to scout this guy just to see what he's all about. We can't really use him because our senior designated player slots are filled up. The only designated player we could bring in would be an under 23 guy, which he is not. So basically, we got Akechi and Acosta, and they're getting this guy. So I don't know. I still think our team is stronger, but, we've had 3 years to put this together. Anyway, that's some big news in the real world. Here in our world, take a look at the coach. I've gone and improved in defending, plus 14, well, plus 1 in my attributes. But yeah, so we're still improving as a coach, still fairly young as a coach, only 27 years old, so we still have a lot of growing to do. Still only know about the USA. Have not stepped out of the USA, so that's fine. My adaptability is only 10. So, probably won't need anything else ever. It's interesting, the guys who have the best opinion of us, Fernando Tena, Bruce Arena, Jason Crace, Pat Noonan, Chris Armas, so some interesting cats there. Armas, what's he up to these days? Head coach of Chicago. Noonan, who are you? Head coach of Philadelphia. So it's good that we're making an impression on our colleagues here in the coaching ranks. But anyway, let's get down to this season. We've been focusing on Champions League. Now it's time to take a look at MLS. So let's get to the competitions here right away. And as you can see, we're doing pretty well. First in the Eastern Conference. After 8 games, we got 5 wins, 2 draws, 1 loss. Plus 7 goal differential and 17 points. Tied with NYC FC in points, but we're beating them in goal differential. And we got the same number of wins, but they've got 9 games. So we're ahead of them, half game up, you could say. Now in Supporters Shield, we are 3rd. Seattle and LAFC, once again, are top teams in the league. So it's nice to see Seattle bouncing back. Nice to see LAFC showing some consistency. And so we're doing pretty good. Now, in terms of stats, I always like to look at the stats. That's always fun. Most goals, 3rd in the league with 15. Minnesota is up there with 20. LAFC isn't on this list, so they've sort of switched their team around a little bit. They've gone from an offensive juggernaut to a defensive juggernaut, or at least, they're not on the offensive list, so you got to assume their defense is pretty good. Most headers, DC United, we're not on the list. Best possession, we're not on this list either. That's a little surprising. I thought we'd been doing pretty good with possession. We were pretty decent with possession last year, but so far we're just sort of scoring goals, and I guess possession is a moot point at this juncture. Montreal Impact is in first place. Again, no LAFC on this list. Tackles won. NYC is up there, so they're playing pretty decent defense. Orlando, we're not on the list anywhere, unfortunately. Least conceded, there we go. LAFC first in the league. Only 4 goals allowed in the season, so, allowing a half goal a game is pretty good. Columbus is up there. Atlanta United, of course, they still have that strong defense, strong goalkeeper. Seattle, DC United, Vancouver, Cincinnati. We're tied for 5th with 4 teams. So, it's a pretty good defensive year this year. And I wonder if some of that has to do with the patch. I don't know. We'll see. As I mentioned in a previous video, it seems like scoring has gone down since the latest update. But, okay. Updates. We got an update to install. But time will tell with that one. We still got more games to go, and we need a larger sample size at this point. Most shutouts, 3 teams with 5 shutouts: Columbus, LA Galaxy, and Seattle. LAFC, Cincinnati, Real Salt Lake, Atlanta United, all tied with 4 shutouts on the season. So again, lots of shutouts going on. Most fouls, I'm a little surprised we're not on this list because we have fouled quite a bit this season, but maybe it's just a couple of guys getting yellow cards that are, sort of sticking out to me, but the stats don't back up my thoughts that we've been fouling more, so I guess that's good news. Passes completed, we're not on this list again. We're not struggling with it the way we were a few years ago, but again, last year we were pretty good at completing our passes. This year we're not on the list, so somewhere below 78%. Crosses completed, we're 8th in the league, 14%. Usually 15% is pretty decent in this league. Minnesota's doing pretty well at 17%. Even though it seems like that's a really low percentage, that's usually more than good enough to be top of the league. Best at hitting the target, 8th in the league. We'd like to get this higher. We do take a lot of long shots. We have taken 68 shots on the season. I assume that's most. It's the most on this list. So we take a lot of shots, so our percentage is going to go down, but 46%, it's borderline, but I'll accept it for now. I'd really love to be 50% or more, but, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Of course, where's my favorite stat? Not possessions, not goals, not shots on target. Team detailed. I want to see crowd. I want to see where we are in the attendance. Attacking, defending. There it is. Attendance. Oops. Average attendance. Why aren't we showing this? There we go. Average attendance. Atlanta United first place, 43,000. That's pretty good. I mean, their stadium will still be a little empty, but 43,000 is pretty good. I don't know what it holds when they configure it for soccer. I know it's configurable for either football or soccer, and I don't know the difference between the two in terms of capacity, but I know it is a lesser capacity. Anyway, 43,000 is pretty good. And we're sitting 6th at 22,000. I mean, our stadium's only 25,000. It's pretty good. Pretty much near a sellout every game. We've lost the ability to have some massive crowds. Like, I think for our reaching the finals of the Champions League, I think if we played at the old football stadium, we would get, 40,000 in there. Maybe even more. But I think day-to-day, game-to-game, it'll be a better atmosphere at our new, modern, smaller stadium. So, we'll take the trade-off, and we're still 6th in the league in attendance, so I'm definitely happy with that. We can take a look at the schedule, see how we got here. We got a lot of games to review. I don't think we've watched many games on camera. We watched the Sporting Kansas City game. We saw the highlights of Minnesota. 0-0 LA Galaxy, sort of boring game. Toronto FC, we held 1-0. Big 4-2 victory over Philadelphia. We didn't watch that game because we'd already beaten Philadelphia in the Champions League. But we can take a look at this. Adi with the brace. Patrick Lee with a goal, of course, on a set piece. And Lucas Crispum, scored 90 plus 4 to put it away. So it's always good to see, our star players and even some of our young players scoring goals. Then we had a 3-1 loss to Chicago, our one loss on the season. And we played sort of a banged-up lineup here. We had international duty. We had injuries. We had just a crazy lineup in there. Hudson in goal, Aguirre, Lee, Wilson. Nuhu came out, Alashe. Richie Salvador got the start and got a red card in the 70th minute. Sonora Crispum Akechi playing left wing. And then Adi up top. So some starters in there. But definitely a crazy lineup. And, it didn't help that Richie Salvador got sent off with the red card. And then from there, we had the 1-0 victory over Montreal. Przybylko with the goal. Take a look at the goal. Why not? I don't even remember this goal, so we should probably take a look at it. Montreal played us tough all game long. Przybylko was able to sneak in there and get the goal before halftime. Sonora getting it ahead to Crispum. Adi. There he is on the left wing making the run. It's a home game, obviously, with the crowd there. So it's been interesting. 18 shots on target. Playing Przybylko and Adi at the same time with Przybylko out on the left wing. I don't know that it's been a revelation, but it's been nice that they've been able to produce without De Vries out there. De Vries is our team captain this year. I don't know if I mentioned that. But without him and his playmaking ability, it's been nice to see Przybylko not making plays so much in terms of making plays for his teammates, but making plays in front of goal, the wide target man. We've been able to get him the ball a little bit easier than we've been able to get the ball to Adi this year. So, that's kind of shown in the stats, I do believe. Let's take a look at the season stats so far. Take a look here. Let's slide them over. So we got Crispum leading the way in goals with 4 goals. Then Adi. Then Przybylko with 2. So, it's not a tremendous amount of goals scored this season. But we've only played 8 games. But we have gotten, again, the wide variety of players have scored. That's what we got last year. And I guess our system is just built that way. Even though we have the lone striker up top, you think we'd funnel the balls to him. We don't really do that. We let the midfielders shoot the ball and make plays, and we don't really funnel everything to Adi the way maybe I've done in past seasons. So I guess it's okay. Having our leading goal scorer being our attacking center mid seems to be the wave of the future. It's just how things are going with the number and the amount of long shots that are going in with the magic spot that we've discovered on the right-hand side of the penalty box. It just seems like that's the way in FM19. Let your midfielders shoot, let them get to that spot and score goals. Let's see. What else can we look at? We can run down the checklist, I suppose. The academy is still what it is. It's being rebuilt. Not a lot happening here. Schultz is still our best prospect, and he's not, that great. So we got issues in our academy. I don't think we're going to be building through the academy much this year. Finances are looking pretty good. I had to use a little bit of transfer budget to even out the payroll because we've been renegotiating contracts and players have been, starting to get upset. You get those emails saying so-and-so is not looking like himself these days. Maybe you should talk to him, and it's all about contracts. All about contracts. When you win a championship, Guys, they want to get paid, and you can't blame them. Some of our guys, starters, making $70,000 a year, they want a chunk of change, and I've been giving it to them. You know, I've been renegotiating contracts to keep the team together, to keep everybody happy, and it's fine. We've got the money to do it. We've got, overall balance is fine. Our payroll is $9.8 million. That's, not extravagant. It's not the cheapest around, but it's not bad. I've had worse payrolls for worse teams. So the fact that we're a championship team making less than $10 million a year, that is fine. Board-wise, we're very secure. No problems at all. The owner feels like he will never leave the club. That is fine and dandy. Confidence reports, all looking pretty good. Very pleased with the locker room. Very pleased with the leadership support. Club stature. Matches. Due to salary restrictions in place. Okay, so they don't care about finances. Philosophies apparently appear to be irrelevant. So all we got to do is keep winning, and things will be fine. Club-wise, any news? Not a lot of news. DeVries has been activated from the disabled list, so he'll be able to come back at some point, and we'll have a left winger again. And, I don't know where that puts Przbilko, but at least we know he's a solid option, either starting or coming off the bench, depending on how DeVries plays. We've got an option there, so that's fine. Facilities, we know all about that. Let's see. General, we are one of the favored personnel, along with Akechi and Adi, so that's good. Finances secure. Owner loves the club. 18,000 season ticket holders is okay for a 25,000 seat stadium. Hopefully that will continue to grow. We are 3 stars in our reputation, so every year our reputation has gone up. 2 stars, 2.5 stars, and now we're 3 stars. So that's why the board is happy. So there's our captain, DeVries, as I mentioned. Danny Wilson is the vice captain. Team personality is determined. That's pretty good. I like having a determined team. Those guys, they seem to respond better like in the second half of games and when they're down. You don't have to make a lot of changes. You don't have to do a lot of crazy stuff. You just have to let them play and wear down the other team with their determination. Transfers, we haven't done anything to my recollection. No. I mean, the last thing we did was we picked up the Arseman from Tijuana. Other than that, we sent out a couple guys on loan. No problem. Draft picks coming up next year. We've got our first round, New York's first round, second round pick, San Jose's second round pick, and Seattle's third round pick. So we got 5 more draft picks next year. I don't know that we'll use them all. Probably trade a couple of those away, but again, always looking for fresh talent. Scouting, nothing going on there. So yeah, that's what we got. That's the review. Not a tremendous amount to worry about. We're looking pretty good. Our key competition right now seems to be NYCFC. They're playing well. They're looking good in the stats. They've got a good goalkeeper. Stian Rode Gregerson. International player. He is wanted, though, by Rangers. So they might lose their goal. What? Oh, he's not a goalkeeper. I don't have their... okay. Come on. There we go. He's a central defender. Okay, that threw me off. But there he is. Where'd he come from? He's been at NYCFC for 3 seasons now. I guess we really haven't paid much attention to them in the last couple of seasons. They haven't been that good. I don't know that we faced them in the playoffs, really, so that's usually how I determine what teams are good. But this year might be a change. We should scout them, I guess. I really hate that. But anyway, they've got some expensive players, especially defense and midfield. Looks, they've got several high-value players. Daniel Zinho in the midfield. Their young designated player is Marcelo Sarachi, Uruguayan. 22 years old. He looks pretty good. Left wing / left wing back. Looks like they're playing him attacking mid, so maybe a little out of position for him. Ola Kamara. How about that? When did they pick him up? 31 years old now. Picked him up in a trade in 2019. 2020. Also a trade. That doesn't make sense. So he went to Portland in a trade in 2019 and then NYCFC in a trade in 2020, I guess. How that works. He had 32 appearances, 7 goals, 6 assists last season, so not bad. But this year he's already got 4 goals and a 7.17 rating. So maybe he's focusing on scoring a little bit more. But anyway, NYC, they're playing well. We don't really know how good they really are. But they seem to be, right now, our top competition. New England's also up there. Atlanta United, of course. It looks like it's going to be a tight race in the Western Conference. All the way down to Columbus in 6th place. Only 3 points back. So we still got a lot of work to do in the Eastern Conference. Western Conference, LAFC and Seattle are up top. They're running away a little bit. Real Salt Lake is 4 points back. Vancouver 5 points back. So they've got a little bit more of a 2-team race in the Western Conference right now. Whereas we're all clustered up here in the Eastern Conference. Player stats. You see who's leading the league in what. Crispum is up there in goals. 5th in goals. Raul Jimenez from Mexico leading the league with 8 goals for Minnesota. Akinola Giovinco still in the league apparently in this reality. Tied for 2nd in the league with 5 goals on the season. There's David Accam from Philadelphia. Most assists, Giovinco. So he's having another great season at 34 years of age. There's Smolov from Atlanta United. Also with 4 assists. Nobody from our team on the list. Most distance run, Lucas Crispum and Akechi. So our midfield running all over the place. Akechi at that roaming playmaker. Crispum at the attacking center mid. It's interesting that he runs so much at the attacking center mid. A lot of times you'll put a guy there just to stand there. But not Crispum. He runs all over the place. Most tackles, least conceded. Bendik from LAFC. Kiko from Atlanta, tied with 4 each. Our goalkeeper not on the list. Most shutouts, Sean Johnson from Columbus with 5. And then Kiko and Bendik. And a lot of other names. Interesting. Hanan from Orlando City. We just beat him. I mean, I guess he was pretty tough to get by. We beat him with a couple of tough goals. But we did score against him, so he's not unbeatable. Most tackles, Michael Bradley still holding on, 33 years old. Toronto, again, getting old. They get old quick in this game. So we'll see how they rebuild the club. Most dribbles, who cares? Most key passes, Sonyora's up there, tied for 4th with 13 key passes. Best at hitting the target, Teal Bunbury from New England, and Adi. How about that? Our team is below 50%. We were, 45%? And Fernando Adi's up there at 70%. So maybe we should be feeding him the ball a little more. Maybe teams are trying to take him away because of that accuracy. I don't know. Oh, it looks like there's Kellen Acosta from Colorado. I was thinking that might be our Acosta, Lucho, but no. Anyway, so there we go. Stats, all that stuff. So let's get to today's game, which will be against New York. Not NYCFC, but the New York Red Bull. And, they're middle of the pack, 9 points on the season, 2 wins, 3 draws, 3 losses. So they're not the greatest team in the world, or at least they're not playing great right now. But they're pretty decent. Got Perita on defense, DeVecchi. Jose DeVecchi seems to be a pretty decent keeper. 15 reflexes, 16 rushing out. He looks decent, only 25 years old. A lot of international players on this team. Obafemi Martins is retiring, so that's actually probably for the best. What's he making right now in salary? He's making $2.57 million. He's only worth $130K, so that'll clear up their salary cap next year, and the Red Bulls can make a run. But this year, maybe he's holding them back. I don't know, but they do still have some talent. It's just a matter of can they put it together with a guy like that sort of handicapping them salary-wise. Anyway, let's get to that game. I actually think I started this a little soon. Where are we at? Yeah, we got like 4 days before the game. So I'm going to pause it here and come back for the game and, yeah, all that. Pause. Okay, we're back. Got 2 games on the slate for today. Atlanta United and Toronto FC and New York and Cincinnati. So not exactly a full slate, but that's usually what happens on Sundays, I've come to find out. So they have a bunch of games on Saturday and then just usually 2 big televised games on Sunday. And here we are versus the Red Bull. We are 6-4 favorites, even though we're on the road. That's not very common. Both of us are coming into inconsistent form, apparently. We've lost 1, drawn 2, and won 2 in our last 5. They've won 1 of their last 5. 2 losses and 2 draws. So we're slightly better inconsistent, although we're both inconsistent. We've got Philippe is still out and ineligible. Jake Wadey is still doubtful. We still got a ton of injuries. At least, guys who are recovering from injuries. And we got to get ready for Champions League. So, we got some stuff to worry about roster-wise. But other than that, we're mostly healthy. We do have a very deep team. So, it's like even if we do have a lot of injuries, it's hard to tell sometimes because we have so many names that we're familiar with, so many guys who have played a ton of games for us that it doesn't seem like we're missing players. But anyway, it's 55 degrees and breezy. Oof. Ricardo Salazar, the ref. 13 yellow cards, an average of 4.3 per match. So he hasn't, he's only reffed 3 games this season, but still, we got to watch out for this guy. He could be yellow card happy. We got an interesting bench going on here. We got Przbilko, Crispum, Sonora, Alashi, Glad, Nuhu, and Stefan on the bench. Got a lot of familiar names, a lot of starters on the bench today. Because like I said, we got to get ready for that Champions League final. So we can't be worried about injuries and stuff like that. I think it's just in like 3 days. So New York is getting a little bit... I won't say a weaker team, but definitely our reserves. So, New York, they got DeVecchi in goal, Tapia, Redding, Perita, Murillo, Besler, one of our former players there, Stanko, their team captain. Looks like they're playing 2 defensive mids here. Brenner, Vargas, Everton, Philippe, and Martins up top. Obafemi. Still holding it strong at 36 years old. Anyway, we are going with Hudson in goal. Clute, Wilson, Lee, and Blackman on defense. Arce and Richie Salvador in the midfield. St. Duke on the left because we don't really have anybody else. Acosta in the middle. He's coming back from injury. So, he needs to get match fit, and he's not registered for Champions League anyway, so we might as well play him. Kiri Shelton on the right, and Wuthiam Hembut up top. Here we go. Should be an interesting day at the park. Let's see. Who do we need to cover here? I don't think we need to... Well... Might as well press their defensive midfielders because that's the only guys they've got in the middle. So we like to press down the middle. That's what we'll do. Your decision to drop Akechi is a bit of a stir. Yeah, we'll let the assistant talk about that. Red Bull Arena, not a tremendous crowd. Rainy day. Let's see what we can do. Looks like they're trying to press up as they are wont to do. Devecki's going to boot one downfield. Klute gathers it in. Maybe we should be on longer passing against New York. Just so we can boot it downfield, but we'll see. I don't know if that's exactly what we want to do. They are pressing pretty tightly. There's Klute. He's bombing it. Hembut on the run. He loses track of the ball. This is going to be one of those mega highlights. Ars wins it at midfield. Acosta has it. Shelton, plenty of space on the right-hand side. Gets it back to Richie Salvador. Acosta's got some room. St. Duke, he's got... I mean, he'll just shoot it. Why not? The Duck of Death. First goal of the season. That took me by surprise. That was kind of the last thing I thought he was going to do with it. I mean, he is way out there. Costa's got some space. Just sort of takes a touch and then blammo. Oh, it might have deflected off of that defender right there. But anyway, we'll take it. Up 1-0 early, 4 minutes into the game, and we get a goal. All about that. St. Duke, 8.0 rating. I mean, if you're going to get your first goal of the season, you might as well do it in style like that. That's one of those ones that's probably going to be up for goal of the season, at least for our team, because it was so far out. That's usually how the awards go, is whichever goal came from the farthest out is usually the goal of the year. Stanko sends one across to Murillo, who's wide open. Hudson could not stop it. I don't think he was expecting Murillo to be that wide open, sitting there on the backside of the defense. I mean, there he is, just hanging out. Nobody there off the set piece. You know, we have our set piece defense sort of lean to the other side of the field, the strong side of the field. Maybe we should set somebody up on the weak side. Murillo's making things happen. All right, let's close him down. I thought he was a fullback. Yeah, he is a fullback. 25 years old, valued at $3.1 million. I mean, he's pretty good. Here we go, Klute with the throw-in. Turned over, but Ars wins it to Richie Salvador. He takes the shot, and another deflection. We'll take it. I guess it's Richie Salvador's second goal of the season. Assist by Ars. We move up to first place. Boom. Yeah, just a deflection. That's 2 for Devecki. He's got to be pretty upset about that. I mean, we do have 60% of the possession. So you'd think we deserve to be up. But, you know, possession doesn't mean everything. Costa playing well, 7.2 rating, so that's good. Defensively, we're not playing terrific, but we're not playing terrible. Looks like Richie Salvador may have picked up a little injury. Yeah, exhausted. We should get him out of there. We'll let him go till halftime. Philippe to Benner on the back post. Brenner. was not great defensively. Who's playing right back? Defense is sort of weird here. There's Blackman. Yeah, he's onside. Well, that sucks right before half for them to get the tying goal. Not real happy about that. And we got another injury. All right. I probably should have checked the medical ward before I substituted these guys in, but tactics. Richie Salvador, he has been training so well. You know, since he joined the club, since he was a 16-year-old, he's been training so well. And he continues to train, he continues to improve. We have to get him playing time next year when he's 20 years old. Have to get him playing time. He'll have 3 years of development. We could get him up to a 3-star, maybe even a 4-star guy. With 3 years of development, he'll probably gain a half-star each year that he starts. That's sort of what I've found, is that if you have a guy who's going to improve, he'll improve a half-star for every 30 games he plays. So, you know, it takes a lot of games to improve a guy, especially when he starts at 2 stars. So I think that, you know, by 23, 24 years old, he might get up to 3.5 stars. And that's probably the best we can hope for him. Which isn't bad. I mean, that is, you know, good quality MLS player. But anyway, we need to get him playing time, but that's for next year. This year, we just need to get him out of the game so he doesn't die. But that means bring in Alashi at that midfield, which is fine. He can play that position. He can play just center mid. No problems there. But we can't afford another injury. We can't afford Ars to go out. You know, then we're looking at putting Crispum in the midfield or something. Yeah, that's really our only option. Is putting Crispum in the midfield. So we don't really want any more injuries. All right, dressing room. Spirits are high. Played well. You can consider yourself unlucky not to be winning. Sure. Consider yourself lucky to be tied with 2 deflection goals, but we're not going to, you know, we're going to look at glass half full sort of situation. All right. Still have 60% possession. It's just they got those 2 goals. And they could say the same about us. We got those 2 deflection goals. I was going to say they got 2 set-piece goals, but they didn't. Their second goal was not a set-piece, I don't think. It was just poor defense. So, what are we going to do here, boys? What are we going to do? We're going to settle for the draw, or we're going to go for the win. Right now, we're in our second wave of just sort of sitting back. You know, we have, let's not look at subs. Tactics. We have 3 tactics, right? We have attack. We have the Z formation, which is sort of basic. We have the reverse Z formation, which is attack, and then we have the 4-2-4, which is also attack. So right now we're in the Z formation, and we're just kind of, you know, playing standard game. So should we go into attack formation or not? Maybe now it's 70-minute. Maybe do we wait for the 80-minute mark to go in the attack? They got 2 yellow cards out there. Yeah, let's hit them with reverse Z. I mean, these positions don't really fit our guys, and I don't really want to change my tactics, so we'll cancel the changes. We'll stick with what we're doing. Ars has gone down to 68%. Hembut's on a 6.4 rating. So we're not playing particularly well. 83 minutes. You know, a draw with our second team's not terrible. Morris is looking exhausted. Yeah. So we could move Alashi down. Bring in Crispum. Just so we don't wear him out, I guess. Injure him. Here we go. Tapia. That would have been heartbreaking at 90 minutes. 1 minute to go. 30 seconds to go. This is the final highlight. So we're going to take the draw. You know, you don't like to say that we're just going to... Oh, St. Duke. Oh, no. Tavecchi with the stop. You don't like that we're just going to sit back and take the draw, but when you're playing a fully rotated squad on the road, day before Champions League or the week before Champions League final, like, you'll take it. Basically, we'll take it. It's fine. So St. Duke got his first goal of the year. Richie Salvador. So, you know, we got our young players in there. They scored. They played okay. You know, other than Hembut, did not play very well. But other than that, everybody else played fine. 6.8, 6.7. St. Duke played very well. 8.3. So, you know, we got some positives to take from that. You were unlucky today, I guess. It's fine. It's fine. So, next episode, Tigres in the Champions League final. That's what it's all about. Revenge for last season. They managed to pull it out and beat us last season, but this year, see, there they are, 2020 winners. It's the rematch. It's the revenge match. Runner-up, there we are right there. FC Cincinnati. Are we a better team? I think so. Maybe not significantly better, but we are a little bit better, I think. You know, at least the guys, we got pretty much the same team coming back. And everybody on our team has improved. You know, the youngsters have gotten better. We're not an over-the-hill type team. So it's all a matter of what did Tigres do? Did they go out and get any big players? Did they, did they get better? Or did they stand pat? Transfer history. They did make a big signing. Raniel from Greece. 24-year-old Brazilian. So they've got a little bit more firepower up top. But they also sent a bunch of guys out. So we'll see. Yeah. So we'll take a look at Tigres next episode, and we'll get to those games. So until then, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.